Hey, Hope friends, it's Kathy Risley here, and I am going to be hosting a little small retreat here at the farm in February, but I wanted to give you a little bit of background information first. I was talking with a friend recently, and we were both discussing kind of some of the painful things that had happened in our lives. Both of us were sharing and listening to one another and expressing just the deep emotions that come along with difficult things like fear, anger, sadness, and anxiety. At the end of the conversation, my friend said, "Gosh, I feel this way most of the time right now. And I'm so thankful that I could talk so freely about that with you. I wish I could do that more at church. But it just seems like on Sunday mornings, it's not the time to do that. Everybody's super happy to be gathering together and see one another." And she was not complaining about that. That's a wonderful thing, but saying that she was really struggling right now. And so it made it difficult to feel like she could be really honest about where she was. None of us, especially in American culture, like to talk about grief. Grief consists of those really deep and painful emotions that result from the fact that things are not as they should be. And also the resulting realization that we don't actually have the power to change some of those things. Those are feelings of grief, and it can be very overwhelming at times. So this is the invitation to the church season of Lent, the weeks that lead up to Easter that we're going to start celebrating with Ash Wednesday on February the 14th, is where we talk about and where we remember within the church that things are not as they should be, that there's death, there's sin, whether that sin is mine or yours, or the pervasive sin of the world that causes so much harm and damage. There's brokenness and heartache and pain. And we realize that we don't have the power to fix all of these things. And so there's grief. There is reconciling with the feelings of what to do in the face of sin and death when we don't have the power to change it. You know, we're a lot like Paul in Romans 7:24, where he comes to the realization, gosh, what a wretched person I am. Who will rescue me from this body of that is subject to sin and death? And then he reminds us, thanks be to God, who delivers me through Jesus Christ our Lord. And you know, that's really what Lent, the church season that leads up to Easter, is about. Is remembering and talking about the fact that there is grief, there is sin, there's death, and there is the realization that we don't always have the power to do anything about that. So all of that to say, I'm going to be planning a small retreat at the start of Lent for those who are grieving. And it can be grief of any kind. It can be the loss of a loved one, the loss of a job or a relationship, a marriage, or it could be loss that's surfacing now regarding things that happened when you were young, but they're just coming up now because maybe you're parenting kids, and all of a sudden it's bringing up your own childhood, and maybe that included abuse or neglect or other feelings of things that need to be grieved that have been pushed way down. I'm limiting the retreat to 8 people just so that we can have a space that is filled with plenty of time for people to share and explore and express their emotions and their feelings and their thoughts, especially those questions that come up about our faith. How does our grief intersect with our faith? And what do we do with that? So I'm going to be hopefully creating a really safe and comfortable setting here at the farm that's going to include some nourishing food and lots of care and intention. If you're interested in this kind of thing, we're going to be doing, it's going to be Friday, February the 16th from 5 to 9 p.m. And then the next Saturday morning, February the 17th from 9:30 to 2 p.m. And I'm asking for that if you plan to attend, that you are able to be completely at both days. And that since there's so few spots, if you're not able to go to both sessions, then maybe wait for the next one so that this one can be filled with people who can be there the whole time. The cost is $65, and that's going to include dinner on Friday night, lunch on Saturday, and some special treats for the retreat. So if you're interested in this, want to talk about it more, or want to sign up, you can either email me or call or text me. My email is Kathy, Kathy, at risleypadula.com. That's risleypadula.com. or my phone number, 910-547-7446. Feel free to reach out.